that.
Huh?
First class service.
We'll wait for you.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. Okay, everybody. Just obviously wrapped it up with the guys. Had an opportunity to visit with them, and now you're kind of in that what I say weird part of the NFL. If you don't go to the playoffs, you're in such a routine all during the week. Now all of a sudden it just stops, and that's where we're at. So I'm sure you have some questions. So go ahead and fire away.
Chris, you were obviously here the last few years, got to know Scott really well. I know you guys have dealt with like a lot of adversity this year. Can you talk about what your relationship was like with him?
Oh, I had a great relationship with him and got a lot of respect for him. And as in anything, it's always tough when there's a departure and you won't see him every day and those type of things. So, but very thankful for the time that I had with him.
Chris, you guys really seem to stabilize on special teams the last couple of years. Looking back, regardless of what happens, what will that group mean to you, and what are you proudest of?
Oh, proud of all those guys. Played a lot of guys this year, and I was very appreciative of how those guys raised their level and kept getting better. Saw some young players getting better, and that's the fun part of coaching. I know sometimes you don't get always the results that you want, but you saw some incremental improvements, and real pleased with that.
Have you met with Tabor and kind of what he or anybody has said about the future of the coaches that are still under contract right now?
I haven't met with him regarding that information, and today has been kind of a hectic day. Got in, you watch the tape, and then you're going through exit interviews, and the players are coming through and having an opportunity to visit with them. So that's kind of really where the focus has been all day.
I know you like to stay in your routine, but what's the plan for you for the next few weeks?
I try to, for the couple days, it's kind of nice to you take a break. Then after that, I think the wife says, hey, you might want to go do something, because I get a little fidgety because I'm out of a routine, so I have to kind of try to find a new routine. I'll find one.
Chris, Hayden Hurst thought that maybe there were too many voices in Bryce's ear this year among staff members. Any thoughts on that and sentiments, kind of what went on that side of the ball?
No, I don't have any thoughts on that. I think when the change was made, I still stayed in my special teams area and let each side of the ball work there. So I don't have an opinion on what he said there.
With the interim role, I'm assuming that you worked a little bit more with Evero throughout the season. I mean, you worked with him obviously throughout the season, but maybe got a better glance at what he does. What does he do well as a coach and as a coordinator?
Oh, he's a good football coach, and more importantly, an even better person. And just really like the way that he handles himself. I think that whole defensive staff, they do a great job with regards to getting guys to play, but their organization of how they do things. I mean, they're very efficient, and it was a lot of fun to watch, and very appreciative to have the opportunity to be with those guys.
How will this work operationally, Chris, with these guys, these assistants, now that the season's over and there's not a full-time coach? I mean, will they be around here? I mean, do you know?
Yeah, what I can only speak from experience on that from whether it was last year or previous organizations that I've been with. Typically what happens anyway is at the end of the season, everyone kind of decompresses for a couple weeks, and you're still in a little bit of a holding pattern, but at the same time, you're still working on football, working on your craft, getting cut-ups, and because you're trying to stay in some type of routine. And I think that every guy kind of handles it differently.
Are you and Dan Morgan kind of working on personnel things right now, just for organizationally to get ready for the offseason?
To be honest with you, I haven't even visited with Dan yet. Like when I say it's been a hectic morning, it's been a hectic morning.
Have you always been able to stay calm and positive, or is this something you've learned throughout your career?
No, I think that's who I want to be. I learned a long time ago. I know that sometimes I can probably be a little colorful on the sideline, but But really, I want to stay positive. You know, if a guy makes a mistake or whatever, he didn't do it on purpose. You know, when I make a bad call, I didn't do it on purpose. Really didn't, you know, and we're playing a kid's game. And like I always say, it's about the relationships, and that's what's important.
Speaking of the relationships, I talked to Bryce, I talked to JC, and also Icky, and they said one of the most important things that helped them get through this tough season was the brotherhood in the locker room. Can you speak to that?
It was a tight group, really was, and that's I think, you know, we talked about it in the locker room a little bit last night, and then we talked about it one more time in the team meeting today. That room's going to change, but your memories are not going to change, and I think what those guys have done a great job, and it wasn't offense, just the offensive guys and defensive guys and special teams. It was everybody. You know, you can walk in there and watch an offensive lineman want to play Eddie Pinheiro in ping pong. That's you know, and they're laughing and having a good time. I think that's you have to have that foundation in order to start building to where you want to go.
Chris, are you glad to have had this opportunity despite the record?
No, I am. You know, I think as a coach, and just you can say, well, he's been in it a while. You're still trying to get better, and you're still chasing things. And this opportunity has allowed me to do that. There are things that came across my desk that I didn't even know took place, even being in this business a long time. So very grateful for the opportunity. Obviously, you know, you always hope that you win more, but I thought that we got better and showed some improvement, and I was very appreciative to the guys for getting that done.
Have you gotten your fill of the position, or has it left you hungrier for more?
I've always wanted to be a head coach, so that's I think it's something hungry for more.
Did you express that to Dave?
Haven't visited with him.
Let's wrap up with Mike.
What's the one memory that you're going to take away from this season, from either as the special teams coordinator or the interim head coach, or is there, I mean, the one thing that you latch onto that will always remind you of this group?
Oh boy, that's a great question. That's a tough question because you think of so many things. You know, really going, to be honest with you, thinking about this, you know, didn't like the way we played in New Orleans. You know, wasn't real happy after the game on that one. And then to be able to look those guys in the eye and say, guys, we're going to win this next game. And go through that process the next week, and then you show up Sunday, and it's a rainstorm, windstorm, everything else is going, and it's all we have. And we end up winning the game, and to be able to celebrate in the locker room because we all did it together. That was going back to that brotherhood. That's where it really surfaced. It was pretty neat.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.